Hey Batfans, Luke here, back with another video, and this video, what I wanted to do was kind of go back to what I was doing before, uh, which was, reviewing some of the Batman trades, specifically, the classic ones, not necessarily ones that, are like the most popular, but that kind of ones like maybe kind of go under the radar, or ones that maybe not too many people kind of know about. And this one I'm going to do today is one of those stories. It's not one that I would put as a classic or an essential read, but one that not too many people kind of talk about, and for either good, bad, or different, whatever the reason it is. This one is by Peter Milligan, Andy Clark, and it is called Batman, the Bat and the Beast, which was originally published in the pages of the Batman Chronicles. Forget the actual issues, 30 something, 31 through 35. And what this story, it deals with Batman kind of going against some of the underground and the criminal underground in Russia. And what you basically have is four main players in this story. Obviously, Batman / Bruce Wayne. You have a character called the Tsar, the Bear, and I always get the guy's name confused. The Colonel General. He's basically the police chief, whatever, over in Russia. And the basic plot of the story is that there is the head leader in the criminal underworld in Russia, the Tsar, is trying to import a nuclear weapon into the United States, and specifically wants to target Gotham City. But for whatever reason, the main thing that's kind of preventing him from being successful in Gotham is obviously Batman. So what he wants to do is lure him over to Russia, and the Tsar's, we'll call it home turf, and take on Batman where he can kind of have more of an advantage. And the big weapon that he has at his disposal is this character called the Bear. And the Bear is kind of like I don't want to say like the KG Beast, because he's not like that, but he's sort of like a Bane-esque type character we have in quote-unquote United States, but kind of a Russian version of Bane, if you would. You know what? Actually, it would be like a cross between, like, if I had to explain them, Bane, Blockbuster, and KGB. So that would be kind of like the Beast. Or the Bear, I'm sorry, not the Beast. Well, the Beast is, the Bear, but that's the Bear. And the Bear's story, I can't remember his real name, but it is kind of like a tragic story, a lot like Bane. And if I really had to kind of summarize maybe a theme to this story, it is kind of like drawing a parallel between Gotham City and its characters and its criminal underworld, and maybe what it's like in Russian culture over in Russia. It's maybe not directly that way, but it's one thing. You see a lot of parallels between how things are done in Gotham versus with the Russian culture, kind of how they would kind of go about their ways as well. But the Bear's background is sort of a lot like Bane's, where he loses his parents, and it's done so when he was a child, and there was sort of a tragic part to it. Now, his father wasn't the best person in the world, but as you see, what he actually wants to do when you open up the beginning of the story is his father's really trying to train up the Bear, which I always forget his darn name, but he's basically trained him a lot like when we saw in like Rocky IV. We have Ivan Drago. He's almost like that. He's really just trying to get him to be an athlete and kind of be a hero of Russia. And how do you be a hero of Russia? As you bring fame and fortune to it, and it's through being a good athlete and perform well on the world stage. And this child does have some abilities, but he does push him a little hard. But as you see, here, the bear's father is killed right in front of him, as well as his mother later. And it kind of shapes kind of like the tragedy you see as he kind of grows up. And the person that, not to really spoil it, you kind of pick up on this in the story. They kind of put tongue-in-cheek toward the end, like they kind of make it like a big reveal. But in reality, it's Czar. Czar orders the hit of the bear's parents early on in the story, and the Czar takes the bear under his wing. Doesn't really treat him to be the best either. He keeps him underground. And while the bear kind of maybe wants it that way, he manipulates him basically to coming to the Tsar's whim. And there's some moments throughout the story that the bear does kind of show some sympathy to what he does, because he's an enforcer for the Tsar, and ultimately will do what the Tsar tells him to do, because initially he was brainwashed to think that he didn't know that the Tsar obviously had his parents killed, but he brought him in, raised him, so there was some sign of loyalty between the bear and the Tsar that the bear kind of took seriously, which kind of withered away toward the end. Again, Batman gets wind of the plot that's coming to Gotham through the criminal underworld in Gotham, obviously, and he finds out, hey, I gotta stop this nuclear weapon from coming over to us, so he's got to go to Russia to fight the criminal underworld. And that's basically the story, is that Batman is sort of being the detective in a way. Not as much as you would think, but there is a case where he's kind of, piecing through the criminal underworld to find out who the Tsar is and take him down before the nuclear weapon is brought into Gotham, and he does so. That's pretty much the plot, to be perfectly honest. There is a showdown. That's the beast, or the bear, right there. There is a showdown between Batman and the bear, and the story wraps up to a point where it kind of parallels again between Gotham and Russia, where you have Gotham being protected against the criminal underworld by Batman, and now Russia has that kind of protector a little bit, and Moscow, has the bear. So overall, this wasn't a bad story. It really wasn't. I know what really drew me to get this. I'll be honest, I didn't read this until recently. Then I reread it last night during the Penguin game, which in between periods they're playing in Vancouver, so it was a late night. So I really got this initially, kind of earlier than I thought, but I really pulled the trigger because of the cover in front. It's a Jacques cover, so I was going to jump on it. But one of the good things you see is if you can get the individual issues, it'd be cool just to get the covers, because the covers on this story are great. You got 2 Gilliam March covers. There's the first one, and then see if I can just kind of breeze through. So I get to the other covers. The next one again is another Gilliam March. I remember that one. Yeah, it's another Gilliam March cover right there. Batman going up against the bear. Third one is there's the Jacques cover we saw on the cover of the trade. Then the last 2, which I thought were fantastic, and I always mess up the guy's last name. It's Francisco Mattina, and they are just beautiful. Francisco Mattina had a bunch of covers come out recently. One, I think it was the last issue, or the next last issue of Batman in the Shadow. I picked that thing up because it was just beautiful looking. But also he has some covers that you see in, here's the other one, in Dark Knight's Metal, which were pretty dang cool too, of all the Dark Knight characters. So that's a plus, if anything, is the covers on these things. Well, we'll go the art first. The art isn't bad by Andy Clark. It has its moments. It's very Delkin Shelby-ish. If I had to kind of kind of describe it. Maybe not even, yeah, Delkin Shelby, and is he the one who's currently doing the art in Wildstorm? I don't think so. No, it's not Wildstorm. Oh, what's the guy's name? He did the art in Clean Room. Kind of this, that might be a little bit more of an accurate assessment of the art is the current artist in Wildstorm, which the guy's name is, it's blown my mind because he did it in Clean Room. It was actually really good. What you see some glimmers of really good detail in this. What I mean detail is in the background, because the character designs of people and the initial what's in the forefront, the panels are done okay, and you see some really good dark images, which are great. But what I think kind of suffers a little bit is the background. I mean, other than you get like big pages, there might be some attention to detail there, but it's really just dark colors in the background. There's really nothing that really wows you. I mean, in the bigger images where, I like that one there too. The one with the gunshot that's going on. It's good, but again, it just sometimes I just think beyond the facial, specifically the facial designs and the other bigger part of the character designs. I mean, this would kind of almost explain it. You got Batman here. I thought is a pretty decent design. You have the bear's hand right there, but in the background is just a solid color, and you see that a lot throughout here, where it's just, I'm not gonna say like it gets kind of like it's minimalistic, but it sort of is. And I would just say that's just kind of a rip-off. It's a lot in here like that. Again, then you got the buildings sort of in the front, but then in the back I know it's the sky, but there's a lot of it in here where it's just some of the background of the panels, it's just very bland. And it kind of uses kind of like color, to kind of fill in the gaps a little bit. Again, Batman's character design I thought was out here pretty good. And the colors, it's sort of a dark story, and you see a lot of that, a lot of blue, a lot of purple, a lot of black in there. So it does kind of accentuate kind of the underground, dark feel to the story that you get. So let's go ahead and address the story. The writing. It's a quick read. Got it done last night in less than an hour. So it's one that you can just pick up and just kind of breeze through. Nothing really else that you need to know in the background of the history. You can pick this one up, new reader friendly, and enjoy it for what it is. It's a simple plot in that not a lot. I was going to say not a lot happens. In reality, that's almost what it is. I mean, I really had to sum up the story is really, Batman preventing a nuclear bomb from coming over to Gotham. Batman goes over there to prevent this from happening. The Tsar thinks he has an advantage by bringing Batman over there, and Batman trying to become, frightened or become, what's the word I'm looking for? To make the others be as scared as him as they are as the bear, and Batman takes him down. It's a relatively simple plot, and other than maybe the bear, there's not much character development in it. A lot of the story, again, is just Batman, almost a half of it, I had to say, was Batman going up against the criminals, trying to spread the fear of Batman, make Batman more of a terrifying element than the bear is. Which, in reality, I don't know about that. I mean, Batman's Batman and all, but the bear, what he's capable of, I don't know. I don't know if fear would be the right thing Batman would be kind of going after, because I don't know. I'm having a hard time trying to explain it, but to me, that was a big bulk of the story, and I wasn't too really fond of it. I did like the development again of the bear, someone who has a sympathetic background, and you get that development where you see a total turn into him actually becoming more of a good character. Which again, it was left open toward the end for him to be used later on. There were some conveniences in this story, and this is one that I mentioned back in my recent video about if I had to do anything with rebooting Batman, I kind of go back to basics and I kind of focus on realism. There was at least once or twice where you see, I'm going to find it, where Batman is going up against, the bad guys, if you would, and he's getting shot at there. And Batman just uses his gauntlet to deflect bullets. Again, this is taking the realism element out of Batman. Again, I understand that there's technology out there where Batman's going to be able to take a ricochet shot and be okay. He'd feel it, but a gunshot might not kill Batman. But taking it to the degree where he's dodging bullets and deflecting them with his gauntlet might be taking it a little bit to the extreme. And to be honest, I was just like, ugh, really? When I was rereading that, I was like, I just talked about this last video, and sure enough, it's there. And there's some conveniences like that throughout the book. What else? It does kind of wrap up kind of quick. When you actually, there wasn't the final confrontation between Batman and the Tsar. Really didn't. You see it coming. You're like, oh man, there's only a little bit left in this book. You're kind of like hoping they just don't breeze through, and then they sort of do. Just kind of breeze through the ending between the Tsar and Batman, and you do feel kind of like, what? Also, there was another character that was kind of in the underground with the bear, who kind of helped Batman along, but he was only in there really briefly. I don't think he can give a name, and he really led him to the bear, so you were thinking it'd be more prominent than actually what he was, and it was just, that was it. It was a quick little cameo of someone who had a profound impact on the story, and they kind of left that plot part kind of dangling, kind of like wondering, like, is that guy still in the underground? Did he leave, or is he okay, or what? And he just kind of left that thread kind of plummeting, But overall, I mean, the writing, it wasn't bad. There were some parts that I was just like really shaking my head about. But beyond that, again, it's a quick read. You don't need anything to know about it. Just jump right in. Again, new reader friendly. And even the Batman connoisseurs out there will find a level of enjoyment out of it. So if I had to grade it out of 5, I kind of put this at like this would probably be about a 3 out of 5 on a very good day. Might say a 2.5 out of 5, kind of average. This would be an average read. I mean, yeah. Price-wise, it didn't break my bank. Cover price of $13. I think that's pretty much what I paid for it. I got this last time I was in Pittsburgh, so yeah, it's probably about $13. Unfortunately, the store I go to in Pittsburgh, they have a lot of books that are out of print. They still kind of have them in stock. I think this one might be one of those out of print ones too. So, would I recommend it? If you come across it and if you can get it for cover price, $13, yeah, sure. And then kind of get to it when you can. If this is one you're on eBay and you're getting into a bidding war over it, I don't think so. Again, this is not one of the ones that you absolutely must have, but if you come across it, you got money, you got an hour to kill or whatever, sure. Just go into it with sort of the right mindset that, hey, I'm just going in for an alright story. It's not one that's gonna, really accentuate the Bat mythos and make a profound impact on the Bat universe. Because in reality, it's not. It's just a fun little again, I use the word detective story, but in reality, it's just street level story of Batman in Russia. So, anyway, rambling on. So, that's my thoughts on Batman, the Bat and the Beast. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about it if you have read it, and we will bat chat about it and then go from there. So, don't know. Next video, I read the latest issue of Batman and also the Dark Knight and the Devastator, and I might want to pull my thoughts on that new quasi miniseries, if you would, the Dark Prince, whatever, the one that came out in the hardback. So maybe I'll come out with that one. So until then, take care.